I think I found a pretty easy and reliable way to convert a brownie recipe into a carrot blondie recipe. It would probably work for apples too, and maybe certain other fruits and vegetables. For this conversion to work without having to use too much math and brain power, the original recipe should include eggs and cocoa powder. I'll explain why in a minute. The recipe I used is one from allrecipes.com. It was the first thing that came up when I searched for a basic brownie recipe. I have the ingredients to avoid wasting food in the event that this didn't work. It will fill an 8x8 inch pan. I start off melting a stick of butter in a saute pan. A saucepan would work fine too. Just make sure there is room for all the ingredients to fit in. I have as much grated carrot as I think I need set aside. As I am melting the stick of salted butter over medium heat, I realize there is some more prep work that I should have done, so I set this on low to avoid burning it while I do that. The main thing I'm concerned with is getting the water content of this batter similar to that of the original recipe. Conveniently, egg whites and carrots are both about 90% water, so if I figure out how much the egg whites weigh and replace them with carrots, the batter should bake up about the same as the original. You can't just say replace the cocoa powder with carrots, it would turn the batter into soup. Oops, I'm measuring in grains. I knew that didn't make sense. Why does that unit of measurement even exist? Looks like these eggs weigh about 112 grams total. Pull the yolks out and the whites are a little over 70 grams. So that is how much carrot I will put in. That's somewhere between a half and 2/3 of a cup, I'm guessing. I'll try 75 grams. Now I can turn this back up to medium and pay attention to it. I don't want the milk solids to stick to the bottom and burn, so I need to whisk this at least a little. I can remove some more water by browning the butter. That will create some more intense caramel flavors too. Okay, that looks good to me, so heat comes off. There's a cup of sugar. Since carrots are sweet, you could probably cut the sugar down to about 3/4 of a cup. And in go the carrot. I bet if you use this technique with regular brownies and threw the cocoa into this hot sugar and butter mixture, you'd get some really good flavors. Blooming cocoa and hot liquid is supposed to intensify it. Speaking of which, the reason I said to convert from a recipe with cocoa powder is because solid chocolate has its own fat and sugar. So for the sake of not having to adjust the butter and sugar amounts, use a recipe with cocoa powder. Or just convert a blondie recipe. I'm taking the temperature to get an idea of how long I should wait to put the egg yolks in. This is 166 degrees Fahrenheit. I think it would work if I whisked the yolks in quickly or if I tempered the yolks, but 140 degrees and below is the safe zone, so I'll just wait. It could take a while. In the meantime, I'll set my oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Now would be a good time to add some vanilla and spices, a little splash of vanilla, some cinnamon, just an amount that looks good to me. Same thing with the ginger. Remember, this doesn't have raw eggs or flour in it yet, so you can safely season to taste, as long as you let it cool down before you sample it. Remember how I said this will fit an 8x8? This is a 9x9. I'll figure out that it's too big pretty soon after I have it lined with parchment paper. I'm still waiting for this to cool down and put in the rest of the ingredients, so this is a good use of that time. I just cut a piece roughly the size of the pan and cut it into the corners diagonally so I can push it down in. Using parchment paper imprecisely is better than not at all. Okay, it's 130 degrees Fahrenheit, so now it's plenty safe to mix in the egg yolks. This smells really good, a combination of caramel, carrots, and the spices. After those are well incorporated, in goes a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder just to give it a little rise. Now 3/4 of a cup of flour. There's a half, mix that in. There's the other 1/4, mix it in, and this is done. Now I am realizing that this pan is too big. It's better to get the pan size right in the first place, but it is possible to pick this up in the parchment paper without spilling it. Just gather all the corners toward the center. I bunch 3 in one hand and the 4th in the other hand. Lift and drop in the proper sized pan. There, it's like it never happened. It's ready to go into the oven. I'll check it after 30 minutes. Here it is. Look at the big bubble of skin that is forming. My understanding is that this happens when you have the sugar well dissolved and an ideal amount of water. So I think my egg white for carrot swap worked. I decided to pull it after another 10 minutes. I think this looks pretty good. That glossy, crackly surface is exactly what I wanted. I thought about making a cream cheese based frosting similar to what you would do for a carrot cake, but I don't think this needs it. That caramelized skin is a good topping on its own. Now that I know this works, next time I can add in some pecans or other mix-in that tend to go well with carrot cake. One limitation of this method is that it doesn't allow you to use much carrot. This seems like proportionally less carrot than you would find in a typical cake recipe. The water content of carrots is a big limiting factor. An idea I have that might appear in a future video is to mix a bunch of shredded carrots with the sugar to create a syrup that you can boil the water out of. Then you can monitor the boiling point of it to estimate how much water is left, because the boiling point of sugar solution rises as the water content drops. There are some good brownie recipes that use sweetened condensed milk, so if I can figure out how to make a carrot syrup that has a similar sugar to water ratio as sweetened condensed milk, I can convert a recipe by doing that. So if you want to see if I can pack more carrots into a batch of blondies, subscribe and you might get to see me do it.